one thing I have to say about going on this healing journey and being in isolation, not relying on anyone to fix your life or give you advice on what you should do and how you should do it, it really gets you to rely on yourself and hear your intuition as it speaks. Because so many times we let ourselves not act out of a place of fear that someone else has put into our mind instead of what we truly feel in our heart. And I think that when we're using substances, I think we think that we're acting on feeling and we're going with the flow, but we're actually just making impulsive thoughts that can be detrimental because we're not thinking things through. You need to use heart and mind to really understand what your next move should be. So it's like you'll get a nudge and a feeling, and then based on whether it's healthy or toxic, that's how you know, okay, I'm going to act on this. Like when you get sober, your thoughts become clearer on what your next move is. However, it's not that addictions don't come back, and it's not the addictions of alcohol and marijuana, let's say. It's because once you've overcome that, usually you're stronger in your spirit to know, like, hey, this is not good for me, I'm not going to do it. But it's other addictions that we don't see as like, oh, problematic. We say, okay, they're fine, I can do this, I can do that. Like, for example, I had cut out drinking caffeine for 8 months, and I don't drink coffee, just black tea with milk in it. And I did that because as I was getting off the substances, I was having so much anxiety that the tea and my ADHD was acting out of control, that I was like, no, I need to cut out caffeine because that's not going to help me. That's going to just make me feel more anxiety and more nonstop overthinking thoughts. So after 8 months, and I've gotten a hold on my healing, and my ADHD thoughts have calmed down, I said, like, I got an intuitive nudge that, hey, have some caffeine, you can have caffeine. And I was like, oh, is this like the negativity, the old self trying to tempt me to do something that's not going to make me feel good in the long run, and that's going to bring back everything that I've worked so hard to overcome? Just like when people go on sobriety, if they have a drink, it triggers a cycle. So it's like sometimes we don't know what is an intuitive thought and is an impulsive thought of something that's from your old self, and it's really, that's what they say, use your discernment. But sometimes you have to put your hand in the fire to burn in order to know which one it is. So for me, it was like, okay, I'll buy the tea, buy the milk, buy the sugar, and only brown cane sugar is what I use, right? So try to make it as healthy as possible. So I bought the tea. So I had that cup of tea. It gave me comfort. It gave me energy, because my energy was getting low after 8 months. I didn't have something to boost my energy when I wake up in the morning. So I was like, I need something to boost my energy. What can I do? And so it gave me comfort. It made me look forward to having my cup of tea in the morning. It gave me something to add into my routine. But lo and behold, I started abusing it. I was like, oh, this one cup feels amazing. And it's not even a big cup. It's like this size. Like, it's a small cup of tea. And I said, okay, I can have another cup of tea. One cup of tea is fine. So after like 2 hours, I'll have another cup of tea. And then I'm like, okay. So that went on for a couple of days. I was only having 2 cups of tea. Then all of a sudden I said, you know what? After I pick the kids up and we get back from the park, I always used to drink tea in the evenings as well. It was another comfort. And I said, I'll have a tea at 4 o'clock. So I had another cup of tea at 4 o'clock. So now I'm at 3 cups of tea. And remember, I'm fasting, so I'm not eating as much. And when you don't eat a lot, caffeine triggers you differently when you overuse it. So by the 3rd cup of tea, and I didn't have a big dinner, I ate at like 3 o'clock, and then I didn't eat again. A couple hours later, my stomach felt like I was pregnant. Like, it felt like something was moving inside of me. I was like, what is this feeling? What's going on with me? So my anxiety skyrocketed. I started to be fearful, thinking the worst case scenario. And I was like, okay, you're fearful, you're in this state, what can you do to solve it? So I was like, okay, just eat something, eat some bread, eat something to, maybe you need to absorb the caffeine in your stomach. So I started to eat bread, and I don't know what else I ate. And then I started to feel like, okay, the stomach pains and feel weird, upset stomach started to go away. So I was grateful that I overcame it, and I even started Googling like what this could be, and they were like, basically drinking black caffeine, boiling water, it can ruin the stomach lining. And I'm like, oh shoot, like, yeah, that's basically what it felt like. It felt like my stomach lining was kind of burning. So I was like, okay, do I just cut out caffeine completely, which I don't want to do. So for a day I didn't have caffeine just to get my body in a like reset. But I was like, no, like I'm gonna still put my hand in the fire, but have self-control, because the problem is that when you put your hand in the fire, it's that you did something that you knew you shouldn't have, because it's overusing something, right? Anything that we overuse is not good for us. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to do caffeine, then I have to have the utmost self-control. And I forgot to mention that when I'm having that third cup, it's affecting my sleep, and I'm not able to fall asleep until like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, whereas before I was falling asleep by 9, 10 o'clock because I was exhausted by that point. And my legs started shaking, my restlessness, all these things, because I was overusing the caffeine. So now it's been a few weeks, and I've only been having 1 cup a day. Even right now, like, I'm craving another cup. I want it so badly because just the weather's sunny, it just gives me comfort. So it's like, instead of having a drink, a pina colada, I just want to have my tea outside and be staring at the mountain and enjoying it. But I know that if I have another one, it's going to lead to me wanting another one, and it would just be overusing it. So I said, I've been really disciplined with myself and saying, no, you're only allowed to have 1 cup. Remember the consequences of what happened. Do you really want to put yourself through that again, or do you need to burn your hand to feel it? So yeah, hopefully I stay on this path of not